Center. Hey, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Bill.
Morning, Jack.
Curtis.
Morning, Curtis.
So, welcome to Cryptocurrency Questions, Answers, and News. And I'm Jeff Brody. I'm joined by Bill Shaltima and Curtis Caudill. And we're going to talk a little bit about, everybody talks a good game until they get punched in the face. Was that, I think this morning might have been a punch in the face that we weren't expecting. And, what's your take on that, Curtis?
Well, there's definitely a lot of really negative news in the market right now. Of course, it started with Elon Musk and yesterday and today with the news about the Chinese institutions no longer being able to accept cryptocurrency as legal tender. It's kind of the perfect storm for a large dip, and that's what we're experiencing. And of course, if you've logged on to any of your exchanges, you're probably getting a lot of lag from people panic selling and getting out of the market. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a good time to talk with people about it and try to make sense of what's happening.
Yeah, deep emotional stuff going on right now for people.
Oh yeah.
People trying to desperately grasp onto the profits that they were counting for their Lamborghinis.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about emotions, Bill. So seems to be the popular thing, and it's like we know that the candles are really just a representation of emotions.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your take on the way the market dipped, and how did it hit you?
It was shock for myself this morning because I had bought into PDEX, and at 27, I thought, well, that's pretty good. It was up, I think, 32 or 34 earlier, and as far as the 24-hour high, and only to wake up to it at 19, and now I think it's around 16, 17. And so, I'm thinking, holy crow, this is not based on some of the conversations we've been having. It was, things were going to heat up this week. But like we talked last night on our show, you don't know what tomorrow brings, right? We had the whole issue where $1 billion were donated to India, only to find out he burns off 410 trillion SHIB coin, right? And for a positive move. And so here we're again, you see the possible light at the end of the tunnel, things to shift up, only for it to be crashing back down again.
Yeah.
And so, it begins to create doubt in you. It does me a little bit, but I'm a very optimistic person in general anyways. Yeah. So, but there are people that aren't like me, right? And that are having a real struggle, and they're probably losing it. They don't know what to do. It's like, do I sell where I'm at now and just take the loss and hit and wait for it to recover? Or do I just hold it? Can I even hold it? How long do I hold it? I don't know how to read it because there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's confusion, and people, when you get into that emotional state, you start to make wrong decisions. Because I was thinking, oh, it's a dip, I can buy in. But then I kind of had to stop myself. Actually, my girlfriend did. She said, just wait. And because it's such a fresh
wisdom.
Yeah, such a fresh shift, right? Of this huge downward momentum. And you got to let it play out, and you got to be patient, and you got to breathe, and because we believe in it, right?
Yeah.
But there are people that are saying it's dead, it's over, this is the crash we've been expecting, it's over, right? People, doomsday speakers. So
yeah, and we know that emotions are what drives the market, right?
Yeah.
And and we're looking at this, and I'm just saying to myself, wow, and this is a big one. It was, I was watching a panel with BitBoy and some of the other crypto gurus, and they were talking about this, and they were saying, like, if we see a correction of Bitcoin below 36,000, that we're definitely into a different market. And, waking up this morning and seeing 32,000 was that kind of like, wow, right? People playing the market, doing shorts on things must have done extremely well if they placed it and timed it. Can't say that I'm in that group. I know we sold a few things last night because it was like, okay, we should sell some things, but I was like, I saw Matic rebound, and I was like, oh, okay, this is good, and well, anyways, we know that's all history now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, because I'm looking at this going, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip in, flip out from some of my holdings to realize the loss. Mm-hmm. And got to be careful with this, because as we're seeing, like, the markets are lagging seriously.
Yeah.
Right. I saw this with a coin the other day. Last week, I was trying to sell off on a coin, and it was using the Binance Smart Chain, and the transaction never went through.
Yeah.
Like, I did really well on buying into the project, selling, made money on it, and I just wanted to sell off the balance of my holdings, and I couldn't sell off the balance of the holdings. And, the interesting thing was, I was chatting with a friend this morning, saying, I don't see the coins that, what she had invested into a project that moved over to the Ethereum network, and she was looking for the coins. And I said, well, you have to add the coin address to your Ethereum wallet. You can actually see it. And I went and took a look at it. Couldn't find the coin on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. I did find it, and it had a $0 value. And that's the thing about some of these projects. I think that, with this type of tipping, we might see that, because the liquidity won't be there for the projects. Mm-hmm. These, it was interesting. I was thinking about Litecoin in 2017 when the founder sold his bag of Litecoin at the peak of the market. And that's kind of what, like, Vitalik did, mm-hmm. selling off $1 billion of SHIB, right? Yeah. And I was kind of looking at that, like, Vitalik wasn't a founder, but he, having 50% of all tokens, put him in a position to be the equivalent of a founder.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, I started seeing some correlation. What we're going to deal with now is that if we're only invested in what we can afford to lose, we haven't leveraged ourselves.
Yeah.
That we need to collect our thoughts, and let's talk about that, collecting our thoughts, and then figuring out what's the strategy, the realignment now of going back into the markets and preparing for that. I think that we need to think about, before we dollar cost average in, like, what's the ramifications of that? What's your thoughts, Curtis?
Well, hopefully everybody in the group and the people that we know haven't been, aping in tons of investment money and have only been putting in what they can afford to put in. And, for me, it's definitely a long-term strategy versus a 401k or something of that nature. So these wild swings don't really affect me as much. I mean, of course, there's a balance that's shown in my wallets and on the exchanges, but at the end of the day, a couple of years down the road, is that really going to matter? And I think that hopefully that's the way a lot of our people in the group are looking at things. I'm not really, of course, some of you guys are trading even on the minute chart or the 30-minute chart, and some people are good at trading in a bearish market, and it looks as if that's where we're headed. However, there definitely seems to be a line of support, hopefully around the 32,000 range for Bitcoin. And as everybody knows, Bitcoin kind of determines the market, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully we find support there. I think we will, but again, I've seen something similar happen in the past, and these kind of Bitcoin market trends seem to happen every couple of years with these amazing highs and then these huge dips. So as far as strategy goes, I think dollar cost averaging has always been a great strategy. Because if you're pouring in tons of money, especially when the market's up, you throw $5,000 in, lose 50% in a couple of days, versus dollar cost averaging in a little bit at a time at different prices. It's always been a good strategy in my mind. So.
Yeah, I agree, and it looks like right now Bitcoin's back up to $35,000, so people are buying in there, and I see Ethereum's kind of recovered a little bit. It's sitting around 3,300 or 2,300. So we're starting to see a little bit of life coming back, but could be just all the DCA people, and we need to see where this is going. It's if we have a few dollars DCA in now, I think now looks like a good time. But it's knowing that we're driven, this market right now is driven by deep emotions and by kind of we're driven by the media right now, the media outlets, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And we can definitely start doing some research and looking and see who's buying right now. Are institutional investors buying? Do you think Elon Musk or Michael Saylor are selling their bag now because they're tucking their tail between their legs and going home? I don't think so.
No.
No, they're still buying in for sure. And the other thing I wanted to add too is, even in a bearish market, it's really important. Well, not so much important, but there's a lot of coins out there right now that really don't have any utility or use. Things that are being released on the Binance Smart Chain, Uniswap, and things that are just getting put out there that people have bought into that really don't have any utility. Those kind of coins are really going to tank quickly, but there are still going to be really good investment opportunities for projects in the future. You had mentioned PDEX earlier. I still feel really good about that one because they haven't even launched a test net yet. Monet at the end of the summer, those are going to lock value. And there's going to be a lot of other projects that are going to realize their potential. Matic being one of them. Matic still looks good. And there's a myriad of other projects that, despite Bitcoin's plunge, are going to recover, I think, quite quickly. But you're definitely going to see a lot of outflows because of the Bitcoin pairs and a lot of USDT flooding into the exchanges, or flooding out of the exchanges. But yeah, the institutional investment, you can watch Whale Watcher and see a lot of these over-the-counter sales that are still going through, and people purchasing millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin every couple of hours. So.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting watch today.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping the bottom's in.
Yeah. What's your thoughts, Bill?
Well, I'm only 3 months into this marketplace, so I'm very hopeful. And I think what's been really good is having surrounded myself with gentlemen like yourself that are like-minded, have a vision for it. This was not something you want to do on your own, for sure, and you don't want to rely on Facebook posts for your decision making. You need to have a group of people around you that not only their own best interests, but your best interests at heart as well.
Yeah.
And so you need to seek out those people, or manifest those people, or pray for those people to come into your life, because it's been a world of good for myself, and it kept me from making some improper or unwise decisions based on emotion. And so it's good. Like I'm totally hopeful. I don't think I'm going to move anything out. I think I'm a little bit too low in the red, and I don't want to take that loss. So I'm going to hang on to it, and just see what happens, see what plays out. Decide if I want to grab something that's nice and low in the dip, whether it's more PDEX or more SHIB. Like I'm not sure yet. You just got to watch it, because tomorrow there could be a piece of news that comes across their screens that's so positive, and next thing you know, it's back up. I mean, we just don't know what to expect. But it's being happy with where you are right now, with the decisions you've made, and that you're building your financial wealth.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Curtis.
Well, I was going to say, yeah, exactly. So definitely a good time for some projects to buy. And there's other ways in crypto to, of course, realize investments. Jeff, I know that you're into the mining, and then there's other things in the industry that definitely need some improvement. And so I mean, trading's not the only way to get involved. And of course, we've talked about the CCQAN and kind of turning it into sort of a media outlet of sorts with our own coin and our own ways to get our messages out there and try to help people and learn in the market. So, yeah, just a lot going on. I don't even know how to really gather my thoughts about everything that's happening. It's just crazy. But I also wanted to say, and we're kind of where I was going is, the 2017 bull market all the way up to the January 2018 crash. And I'm not suggesting that anybody do this, but I have seen people hold through the entire dip, which of course in 2018 lasted almost a year and a half, 2 years, and ended up coming out of the other side, 10, 20, 30x from the all-time high in January of 2018. So, it's all about when you get in and when you get out. And, so holding is definitely still a strategy. It's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to keep collecting. I've seen it work. And I feel confident that crypto will come back. The question is, how swiftly?
So I have a question regarding the whole Asia dump. What options do people there have, or in China, as far as being involved in the market? If they can't get money in from their providers, their financial institutions, what can they do?
Well, that's a good question. I think from what I've read, the crypto has not been banned. Of course, they've got their own digital currency coming out, and what they're going to try to do, and I expect some of this to happen in our country too with stable coins, but more so China. Right now, they have declared that crypto is not a legal form of tender. It's not illegal for people to own it, but it is illegal for institutions to accept it as legal tender, which kind of puts it in a major gray area for legal status and trading. I don't know how swiftly it will be enforced, but the news alone has definitely shaken the markets. And of course, if that becomes enforced, and it can definitely affect the mining industry, and the OTC sales. And then of course a lot of our people in the group do have investments on KuCoin. I will say that that's in Hong Kong, and as of this moment, everything that I've read doesn't lead to believe that particular exchange is threatened in any way, because it's not necessarily under that jurisdiction right now. But anybody that has their investments on KuCoin, I would keep your ear to the ground, just in case, right? We've seen crazier things happen. We've seen the the Turkish exchange nightmare, and some of our older crypto traders probably remember Cryptopia, and so just anybody that has money on the exchanges, especially in the Asian market, should definitely keep their ear to the ground.
Yeah, excellent advice.
Yeah,
Curtis.
definitely.
You know, this market phenomena that we're in right now plays in well to the thoughts that this is a super cycle. And because there's been a lot of thought, a lot of discussion around the market could run into 2022. So it's possible we're at the bottom, or it's possible that it could go long. But if we saw in February, we saw a 6-week, 7-week dip, and we saw the altcoin season start.
Mm-hmm.
We saw some rallying there. And then now we've got this where we've dipped down to 32,000, and it's bouncing. So this could really play into the super cycle, that this is going to be a much longer run than was previously thought. So let's see how it plays out, right? And let's keep our head about ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
and that hold on if you can. And if you need to realize losses, plan that out strategically, because there is a way that you can, this is what corporations do and large investors do on the stock market. You'll typically see this in December. You'll always see the stock market taking a dip because people are getting out of their positions, selling off, realizing gains and losses, and then buying back in, when the clock ticks over on January 1st.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't know when January 1st is in this case.
No.
But we'll, everybody, we've all got an investment plan. We've all got a strategy. And if we stick to our plan and our strategy and not our emotional reactions, I think we'll survive this.
Yeah.
So I think this has been great. Curtis, you've added a great value and perspective, especially going and bringing us back to the 2017, 2018 market. And Bill, thanks for giving us insights as a new investor on the emotional journey versus trauma.
Yeah. Thank you. My pleasure.
Right. Thanks for hosting, Jeff.
You're welcome. And thank everyone for joining us. And we'll check in again soon. And maybe we'll even be back tomorrow to have a quick conversation, and we'll see how the markets are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, folks.
All
thanks
right.
for joining us, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Yeah.
Have a good morning.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Good morning.
Bye-bye.